Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ryan. Excuse me. Today we're going to actually continue what we talked about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and that was SEO and SEM, kind of the differences and how these two are going to help your overall strategy. So today it's actually more in practice. What does that look like? A lot of companies ask us, oh, well, we just don't know what keywords we're going after. We don't have this in place and we don't know how to do it. We have a really cool kind of system and process to not just take those principles, but then put them into action. And that's via finding the keywords that make sense for you and your brand and your organization. So with that said, let's get right into the spreadsheet because I'm going to show you some tactics to the overall strategy. Okay, so what I have here open on my screen is it's for Tuition EP. It's one of our great partners. And they have kind of high-level keywords. This is a first run at keywords. It's not the end-all, be-all, but you can kind of see the general keywords they're going for. And I'm not going to get into match types. I'm not going to get into broad. I'm not going to get into that. This is more of just kind of high-level. What should you be doing? What should you not be doing? There's kind of a lot of us, I'm going to say, healthy data-driven assumptions you can make based on what you see here. So you'll see here, I have in the first column I have all the keywords. Obviously, currency. I typically hide this out unless it is a multi-currency market. SEO goal. I'm going to get into these top rows in a minute, but I want to kind of go with the keywords. For this brand, they're focusing on schools, gradebook, tuition management systems. I'm going to say this is their keyword that is the most important because they are a tuition management system software. So that would be the most impactful keyword for them to focus on. To be honest, it has high search volume. It has really healthy search volume. What's even better about it is the competition is low. So it's phenomenal. You can see here the competition index value. You can see top of bid, low range, the high range of the bid. So in a sense, when you're in a Google Ads type environment, what is the minimum you would pay? What is the high end? That's a that's a very healthy range. It's very affordable and there's low competition. So it's got pretty much everything going for it from that standpoint. So I would say this is definitely bold. It's definitely the most impactful keyword. Now, as I scroll to the right here, you'll see here's the searches, kind of historical searches over the time period I'm looking at. You'll see April and all the dates. It really hasn't. It's gone from 74,000 to 60,000. It's, to be honest, it is a 60, probably mid 60,000 range search volume, which is good. So there's good, healthy search for it. So I'd say make that one bold. It's not that gradebook and schools are bad keywords. I would say they're bad in the sense of, do you want to just focus schools? Because think about it, you're going to be bringing in audience and people browsing that are looking for best schools in my neighborhood or best schools in my community. So it's probably not the most accurate keyword. Gradebook I don't actually think is a good keyword either because it doesn't make sense from what the app does. Could there be some long tail keywords like best tuition management, implementing gradebook? I don't know, it's weird, but you could have some of those type of weird, more long tail keywords that you could target. But let's go down a little bit here. You'll see enrollment. It's okay. I think if it's a feature of the app, it makes sense. And I know that Tuition EP does have enrollment as a capability, so it does make sense. Tuition is definitely a good keyword, but tuition in itself probably isn't the strongest because tuition could be for tuition for karate club, tuition for soccer, tuition for, whatever. Also, it's not specific. It's not what it is, which is tuition management system. So always try to be specific when you're at the planning stage. So when you get to this implementation stage, you can say, hey, these are keywords. We want to keep an eye on them. I would say even keep an eye on schools and gradebook and see if the historical value increases or decreases. Right now, it's not. There's no really change. It's staying pretty healthy. So I think that's fine. Billing management I think is good for them. Pay tuition is good. I would be a little bit careful as far as like financial aid. I would say be a little careful because do you do that? Like it should be questions when you're saying, hey, we want to target this keyword. Well, is it something you do or a service you offer or a product you sell? If not, you might just want to keep an eye on it and not actually put it into your list of keywords you're going to target. Okay, so that's kind of high level, and I'm going to now talk about kind of the two tiers, SEO versus SEM, which make sure you click below. We'll put the link to the previous talk where I kind of delineate the differences. I'm not going to talk about the differences now. I'm going to kind of just get into the way I would break it up and the way we break it up here at Energy Hill. We start with your SEO goal. We do some simple math to kind of say, okay, what are all the clicks we're looking at? I honestly, in some cases, I would remove this large one because it just doesn't make sense for us. It's just not a healthy keyword. Schools is not a healthy keyword for us. So you can delete that. I usually don't delete it in this type of worksheet. I'd have a working sheet that would, in a sense, I can delete and play around a little bit because I like to keep the data here. And it calculates all the average monthly, adds up everything. And then our SEO goal is 0.25%, not 25%, that'd be great. 0.25%. So it's a quarter of 1 percentage point. Based on the overall search, let me get rid of the million, you're looking at around 521 clicks organically, not paid organically. We'll get to paid in a second. So that would, I'm going to put that back in there just so the numbers are a little more fun. If we convert of people that come in that are clicking, if we convert 1.5% of that traffic, which is, I would say it's a little high, but it's still healthy, we would look at around 54 SEO total conversions, especially if we're putting other tactics in place like a really cool, hey, download this form to help you plan your tuition management system, or need to increase tuition, and here's your, a nice PDF or something that is gated content or some added value that the user can fill out a form for. This is really the SEO focus. It's organic content that is focused on driving traffic to your content that you already have on your site, which will then lead to submissions, leads, or what have you. And if it's more your product driven, it would lead to sales. So it's a really kind of a data-driven approach to driving SEO and tracking SEO growth and kind of how you're doing. The middle one adds the right and the left together. So, and I'm going to get to the right now, which is SEM. So this is based on the same traffic we were looking at. So this traffic, if we're going to be looking at the top range and in a sense, a top range and low range, so this is the column of the low range for all the keywords. And again, we're even taking into consideration this massive schools keyword, which is probably a bad keyword. But the whole point is it's diluted. It's going to dilute all of our math. This is not a weighted average based on the search volume. This is just a straight average because it doesn't really need to be weighted average. We just want to look at kind of, hey, what makes sense for a spend initially? Again, first pass, high level, just looking at what makes sense. You then see the SEM click-through rate average. You'll see it takes these two numbers, just averages them. It's not complicated. And then looks at, okay, what is our ad spend going to be? Is it going to be $2,000 a month? Is it going to be $10,000 a month? Let's change it to $12,000 a month. You can see immediately it changes to, this is how many clicks we should be getting. Now, this is a very low percentage, in my opinion, when it comes to conversion. If the content is good from the campaign standpoint, if it's a well-done ad and a good landing page, the conversion rate should be higher than 2%. We're a little bit, I'm biased because I have a phenomenal team. We usually get in that range of about 6 to 12%. We've had even upwards of 18%, which is crazy. But for certain markets, it can be done. So there's no such thing as it's a unicorn, never gonna happen. No, it can be done. You got to make sure everything's in place. What's cool is that you can set your percentages. Let's say it is that you have a low conversion goal. Let's say 1%. And we're still spending around 12 grand. It'll equal this many clicks, and we'll be converting this much. You add the two together, and that's what you can kind of forecast is you should be getting about this many leads per month, 71 leads per month, based on, hey, we have good content on our website, really good, healthy blog posts and pages, and good organic, and we have a good ad spend in place. When those two things are in place, you really should have success. Here's what I would say do. This is a lot of work for if your business is whatever, real estate or construction. You don't need to do all this. This is a lot of work that doesn't make sense, but you can kind of have a design agency like Energy help build this, Energy Hill, build this for you, and then you can kind of know what you're targeting. That's a good first step. So, okay, I know this is a lot. It got a little granular and technical, but it is a good step to take for the growth of your agency. My name is Dr. Ryan. Please make sure you follow and share. Also comment. I love comments because it helps us kind of curate our content specifically toward our audience. Have a great rest of your day and talk with you soon.